It's going to be 4 days this year. I just want to get the dates out if you have a daughter, son interested. I believe the age is 6 to 18. The dates are going to be the 27th of June through the 30th of June. It's going to be held at Monterey Peninsula College. It's going to get together in the mornings. Then we're going to get together for the Super Bowl on Thursday, and that's always a lot of fun up there at MPC AM 540. Sponsoring that. Coach and Chris getting together.
Looking forward to it. Helping out the kids.
I'll take the offense, you can do the defense, all right?
Okay. Now you told me something interesting this morning now about your defensive drills, and just tell the kids to make them run when they kind of get you upset. Just run.
Just run away from me. Run laps. You like that? They're not my kids. I don't have to handle them. No big deal. Absolutely. So, no, that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. Hey, what do you got coming up? Any idea what your show's going to be about on Sunday?
Yeah, I was going to talk about one thing, one of my pet peeves: why aren't there more women presidents? And just interesting topics, presidential values. Going to have some fun. Tune in.
I can't wait. It's Conversations with Chris. How's the new name working out for you, my man?
Very good. I tried to go about it my own way with my name that I chose, but it didn't work out. So I took a professional's choice, chose Conversations with Chris, and here we go.
I can't wait to listen. All right, my man. Hey, by the way, I want to welcome my friend Bob Oliver. And speaking of hosts here on AM 540 KRXA, you can catch Bob's show on Sunday nights at 8, or no, 9 rather, isn't it? Yeah, and then on Monday nights, I know at 8 o'clock. Quantum Leap. Bob, welcome.
Thanks, Coach.
Did I get the times right?
Yeah, well, yes, you did.
Pretty close. In fact, the reason I wanted you to come in here this morning and talk about the Quantum Leap program we have planned for Saturday night is there's a couple things going on that caught my eye. Tell folks.
Well, Saturday night we're going to do a recap on the events of 9/11 with some very professional people. One has written the book, Organized Chaos. He's been on the show before. That's Cass Swenson. And then we also have Steve Berger from 911truth.org. This is one of the largest groups around the United States, very organized. It has camps in pretty much every city in the United States. Then we're going to be looking at the evidence that has been brought forward by Dr. Judy Wood and many of the other researchers in the research community, but Dr. Wood has the most complete and up-to-date information that shows the science behind what happened on 9/11.
It's all happening this Saturday night here on AM 540 with Bob Oliver, the Quantum Leap. When did you first start questioning the events of 9/11?
On the day of 9/11, I was woken up early. I had a phone call from a friend who said, turn your TV on. So I saw the second tower come down. I saw when the newscast first stated that the Pentagon had been attacked, and my first concern was that they did not go to the Pentagon right away.
What do you mean they?
Thank you. The media did not show any footage of the Pentagon in the first 20 minutes of the attacks. But when they did show the Pentagon, they only showed it for 7 seconds, and all you could see was a smoke screen in front of the wall of the building. After that, I waited in front of the television intently, hoping to see more of the debris field and see what really was going on. It was nearly an hour that went by before they showed it again, and this time they had blackened off the bottom half of the television screen, meaning that the whole bottom of the television was simply black. You only had the top half, which showed a depression in the building, in the roof line, kind of V-shaped roof line where it had caved in, where the V was. Again, no debris field. You didn't see any airplane, which was what we were told that had hit the Pentagon. It was those things in combination that made me consider questioning the events. It wasn't until 2005, in asking questions about the Pentagon, that I started hearing information surface that it was hit by a missile, that there was a 16-foot hole on the wall at the base of the Pentagon wall, in the first hour, and that the cave-in didn't occur for nearly an hour after the 16-foot hole was created, which we never got to see.
Bob Oliver joins us on AM 540 KRXA. We're talking about 9/11. Very good description, Bob, as to what. Well, actually, I forgot the question. No, I'm teasing. I asked Bob, when did it first start for you? And that's one question. Now, let me ask you this, because I've been dealing with this a little bit as I talk to people. How do you handle somebody who completely is not open to the possibility of anything other than what we read in the official government version?
Well, we don't. You just have to move on to people that are open. That's really the answer.
I think you're right, because you can't frustrate yourself. Excuse me. You want to get out there. I say my part, but just as I found out at one of the peace protests we did, where I was talking to this guy who listens to Mark Carbonaro up there, 1460, you just can't reason with some people, and some people are not open to it. I'm past the point where people, if I ask questions, I haven't really made up my mind. I continue to ask questions. I know which way I'm leaning, and based on some of the stuff that you told me, based on the phantom passport that was found in the rubble of the buildings following the plane smashing into them, based on the fact that there was never any bodies, any luggage, any teeth of any of the survivors from any of the plane crashes. I've formulated some doubts throughout the years. Oh, and then, by the way, Building 7, which of course you pointed out to me. Mention again to Building 7, because that really was, that along with the passport, was when I began to question the official events of September 11th.
Well, the Jersey Wives, as they're known, are the reason that we even had a 9/11 investigation. President Bush wasn't going to investigate, hadn't started an investigation on 9/11 until he was pressured by these women who had lost their husbands at the World Trade Center that day. They all got together and they kind of forced the issue. Without them, we would have not had an investigation at all.
Yeah, a lot of credit to those ladies for
Absolutely.
And then, so that pretty much started it. So again, for me, it was Building 7. Explain what happened with the BBC video for it.
Yes, well, even though we had a 9/11 investigation, Building 7, which was owned by Larry Silverstein and was directly across the street from the World Trade Center 7, which was at that time 6 buildings on a whole city block, Building 7 fell at 5:25 roughly in the evening of September 11th. Now the problem is that it was, well, there were a lot of problems. First problem is that BBC television came on at 10 o'clock, which was again 5 o'clock in New York City, and they began to describe a scenario in which Building 7 had just fallen, just at 5 o'clock, when in fact it did not fall, and there was no indication of it going to fall until 5:25. So that's it in a nutshell. It was a pre-released story in which you can go onto YouTube and look for that, the BBC Building 7.
Yeah, did that the last time you were on. You told me about that. Just hit Google BBC Building 7. It goes right there. And sure enough, the reporter is standing there telling us how Building 7 has also collapsed. Oh, what's that behind her? Well, it's Building 7.
It's right over her shoulder. And it's still standing there while she's telling the story.
It does astonish me that nobody else really talks about that or questions that. And if you do, you're like, whoa, what's your problem? You don't love America? You think it's somebody else? Well, I just don't buy everything perhaps as easily as others do.
Now also you can go online or you can buy DVDs that show Building 7 collapsing. Remember, there are a lot of people filming that day after the first plane hit. So Building 7 is filmed, and what you're witnessing, it looks like a controlled demolition of some sort.
Whereas there was a lot of people videotaping at Building 7, of course, around Ground Zero. Still not, to my knowledge, able to see any of the surveillance video around the Pentagon.
That's correct. We've never seen an airplane hitting the building. We've never seen an airplane in the original footages that were released. Basically, we've never seen an airplane.
And yet that more people would rather watch American Idol or Dancing with the Stars than really care that much about something that was so significant and brought such horror and changed the way of life in our country.
Absolutely.
All right, you're listening to AM 540 KRXA Codes, kicking it around with Bob Oliver. Chris is in the studio with us. You want to join us? We'd love to hear from you. 831-899-5792. A reminder, 540 Friends getting together tomorrow for an early lunch at Jim's Restaurant in Seaside. Check it out on 540 Friend on Facebook. Bob, you're not a 540 Friend yet, are you?
No, I'm a illiterate 540 friend.
Will you come on? Will you get it with the program, please, and join? Come on, we're trying to get up to 150,000 members. You'd help push us over the top.
I don't know which buttons
right.
to push on that computer.
Well, I'll show you. You're pushing my buttons right now. All right, so you join us tomorrow. You going to come to lunch tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be great.
Jim's is the best.
Oh, it is the best, and they're a great sponsor. So come on by, say hi to Helen and Jim tomorrow, and a whole bunch of the crew from KRXA. We've got to take ourselves a break. We got some phone calls lined up, it looks like. We are dreaming on about a better country here on AM 540 KRXA. Thank you so much for being tuned in and logged on.